Hey folks, thanks for joining us today. Welcome. Thanks for joining us for Digital Inclusion Week. Today is day 3 of our resource highlights. We're very excited to share a couple more free resources with you in honor of Digital Inclusion Week. Hope you've been having a great week so far. Hope you've been taking advantage of some of the other great trainings that are available out there. Lots of organizations are doing some cool work this week. And there's also some in-person events happening. So if you don't have one in your area, check online, see if you can find something that's happening virtually, or consider hosting your own thing. Okay, so let's get on with this. Let's celebrate Digital Inclusion Week in style. So today we want to talk about privacy in the library. These are free resources we're highlighting that can help you take what you're already doing to provide patrons with privacy and also with information about protecting their privacy and step that up a little bit. So the first resource, this is an awesome resource that I'm really excited to share information about because I want to make sure that lots of folks have the opportunity to use them. They are Library Freedom Project. This is a nonprofit that works really hard to make sure that libraries are able to support the core values of democracy by providing access to information, providing fair, unbiased privacy standards, privacy rights to our patrons so that they can do whatever they need to do in the online world and have those rights to participate in modern society. I really appreciate how they approach their work and all of the tools that they offer. So if you want to check them out, you're going to go to libraryfreedom.org. Again, libraryfreedom.org. You'll see a few different tools on there, or a few different options on their website. One of them is the Library Freedom Institute, which is not necessarily a free resource. That is one that you pay for, but it is a great learning cohort. Librarians from every different type of library that get together and work on efforts towards advancing privacy in libraries and privacy issues in libraries. So they actually are taking applications for the next year's cohort right now. So if that's something you're interested in, check it out. But again, that is not a free resource. That is how they support their work. On the other hand, there are a ton of free resources. So if you check under, I think it's under Tools on their site, or it might be under Resources on that bar at the top, you're going to see some fantastic things. First off, under Privacy and Big Tech, they have a bunch of support materials. They have tip sheets and posters, so these are things that you can put up in your building. They also have bookmarks, things that you can hand out. This is awesome, giving you something that you can send patrons home with, so they don't have to sit there like at the reference desk or at whatever point of contact you have considering it. They can take that information and then go consider it on their own. Which is, I think, one of the best ways to advance our privacy priorities is to let people think about it on their own, not push them in the moment. They also have presentations on the same topic that are recorded and that you can get access to. They even have zines, which are real easy and cheap to print off, fold up, staple, and hand out. I think that's a great way to get a lot of info out. And oh, by the way, on the Privacy and Big Tech resources, actually on all of their resources, they are licensed CC by NC, which means it's a Creative Commons license. You just have to give attribution. You say, hey, this is from Library Freedom Project. That's it. And then you're allowed to use it freely however you want, as long as it's non-commercially. And so for your library, you're welcome to do anything with these materials, including taking the bookmarks that they've already created, putting your own library logo on it, and giving it out as a resource from your library. That's something that they have specifically allowed by licensing it as CC by NC. So consider that. Great way to get info out to your community. They've also got anti-doxing and anti-harassment resources, which is fantastic for if folks in your area are concerned about maybe getting pushback for things that they've said online. There's all this discussion about like cancel culture, and this could be a good way to open up the library's programming and discussions to supporting people beyond, this sort of like culture war that we're seeing in a lot of places. They also have privacy and security resources. They have resources for library policies, guidelines for when you're setting your policies on privacy and security, and they have resources for dealing with your vendors on privacy and security. So consider looking at those and seeing if there's something that can help you protect your patrons' accounts and your patrons' info a little better, working with your vendors. They also have some intellectual freedom resources. Like we mentioned, you know, things can be difficult right now. And I think they've got some good tools here for making sure that you are well supported and well prepared to be able to offer your patrons, you know, strong support and access to the materials that they want no matter what. And then finally, they also offer health information access resources. And so this is great, especially in rural communities where you may see a lot of households with lower bandwidth, with fewer devices, and with a longer drive, a longer time to get to any kind of a healthcare facility. Offering these health information access resources can be a really great way to not exactly bridge that gap, but maybe you know, put a few stepping stones towards covering that gap. It's something that we can be doing, and so it's great that they offer it. And once again, all of these things are free through their website. So take a look at these. You can put them into action right away in your library. So that website again is libraryfreedom.org. Now, if you are, you know, gathering all this information and going, oh, this is too fast, too much, we are going to have links to all of this. We'll have a roundup at the end of this week where we link to every single resource we've talked about, and we recap these, you know, what these are. So I want to mention, I know we're just saying it has only been one resource so far, but in this video I want to mention a couple other privacy resources just real quick. If what you're getting from Library Freedom Project is a starting point, but you say, okay, now I want to take more steps in my library. What else can I do? Or maybe I want to take more steps at home. I want to be more prepared for this on my own devices. Here's a couple more super quick resources. Electronic Frontier Foundation is a fantastic advocacy group that has been around for a long time. They're all about internet privacy, data privacy, your right to access information, your right to do what you want online. So check them out at EFF, that's Electronic Frontier Foundation, EFF.org/tools. And you will find some great resources on there, links to software that's, you know, safe, browser options that are safe, information about tools, browser extensions, software, malware, things that are not safe or that you should avoid. Some great guidelines for operating your staff computers, your public computers, and maybe your personal computers as well. And then if you want to get even more into the weeds with a little more technical information, I'm just going to recommend defensivecomputingchecklist.com. This is the idea that you need to be active in how you are protecting your privacy and protecting your data. Defensivecomputingchecklist.com is just one person's opinions and resources, but I think he's got a pretty solid idea of what's going on, and he's got some pretty solid suggestions and advice. So if you really want to dig into the technical side of things and make sure that you're really protecting yourself, take a look through defensivecomputingchecklist.com. I went looking through it myself the other day before this, and I learned so many things. It's definitely worth taking a look at. So those are our privacy resources for today. All of these things that we've listed are free. They're available. They're there right now. You can put them into action in your library right away. I would highly recommend checking these out. And I hope that we see you again tomorrow for another day of highlighting free resources in honor of Digital Inclusion Week. So have a fantastic week, and thanks for joining us today.